Whatever. Hello, welcome! I'm Rhett, Captain of the Custodians, and today I'm going to be reacting to another episode of Jujutsu Kaisen. This would be Season 1, Episode 13. Last time on Jujutsu Kaisen, Junpei had a poor day at school. He got into a fight with a bully. Then he got turned into a crocodile monster.
What's for lunch?
It's Hungry Hungry Hippo! Hungry Hungry Hippo!
Hungry Hungry
Hippo! He loves to feed on cakes!
And died. So you know, typical puberty stuff. So in the last reactions, some of you weren't exactly the biggest fans of my, let's say, treatment of Junpei and him going through this. And while most of it is just for fun, I'm not the biggest fan of him still. Now, I did like the scene with Yuji and Junpei once, like, they actually start talking, and the moment he's like, you know, the moment Junpei kind of starts to reveal that it's more of a, like, an internal problem, like he's going through something, Yuji is like, oh man, come on, what's up? Let me help you, let me talk to you, dude. I liked that, but it's just something about this whole scenario that makes me not like Junpei, because it's like, alright. So you just met this horrifying monster man that you know has the ability and the wherewithal to horrifyingly mutilate people for fun. Now, you walk in and you've learned about these curse entities, these things, and what they can do, again, through this guy. This only person that you have met in your entire life that has had any connection at all to this new aspect of your world that you have just found out about. You walk in, your mother was brutalized very clearly by something like this. Because it's not like giant, you know, murder monsters are just running around. I mean, they are, and you just found out about that, so there's the connection. And his first thought isn't to go, wait a minute. Is it A, the school bully, or this sewer-dwelling hyper-ghost monster man that, for fun, showed you mutilated, deformed, perverted human bodies that were still alive, that he was doing for fun? Now, if you're Junpei, who's your first guess? Who did it? If anybody did it at all. Now, I know most people would probably be like, well, Rhett, that's unfair. His mom died. I mean, yeah, he's not gonna be all there, but I don't know. If I lived in Gotham and, you know, like, I walked into my mom and she had a huge smile on her face, she was dead, and her face was painted with makeup, I wouldn't be like, gosh darn it, I knew, you know, Greg from my old high school would try to get at me. I knew it. I would probably be like, hey, you know, it was probably the Joker? In the best scenario, he's just really stupid. In the worst scenario, he was using this just as a way, just as an excuse to get back at his tormentors. So yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan of Yuji, or not Yuji, Junpei. I'm sure he's not dead. Like, really? Because he's, like, in the intro, and he's, like, chilling out with the main cast. And I would be interested to see that. That's just my thoughts on Junpei so far. Okay, I'm gonna have to edit this down tremendously to make it more concise. But aside from Junpei, we also got a cool fight between Yuji and Stein. I'm going to figure out his name, if I haven't already, and I'm gonna write it down, and I'm gonna remember it, I promise. Maybe. So we got a cool fight there. So Yuji, having Sukuna in his body, allowed him to directly damage the soul. Okay, so that, okay, I might be, so that may not be actually why he's able to do it, but he was able to defend against soul manipulation because Sukuna's already in there. He's already in the soul space, and Sukuna, even at this power, is, I'm assuming, far more, at least soul strong, than Stein is. And so he basically is, for all intents and purposes, as far as I know, Yuji being the only person who is just able to completely negate the soul fuckery that Stein is able to do. So this allowed him to, you know, let's say fight a little bit more brazenly than Kento. I believe that Kento, yeah, allows him to fight more brazenly than Kento. And he was doing pretty damn well, all things considered. I mean, with how, and I've mentioned this, I think, like, every episode, but with how things go in this show, at least how things have gone in this show, seeing Yuji be able to, like, fight somebody that's, like, a real bad guy, not just like, oh, it's random curse monster, which even then, sometimes it's like, it's a shitstomp. Seeing him be able to, like, trade blows, it was new, and it was pretty fun. He's coming at him with, you know, just his Jajenkins, and he is just absolutely willing to take that pain. Stein uses, in lieu of not being able to manipulate Yuji, he starts to just manipulate himself, creating drills and stuff like that. Which, again, I talked about, like, what level is he doing this at? Like, could he give himself bird wings? And then I brought up, would the wings be just, like, fleshy human bits in the shape of bird wings? Or could he actually create feathers? And by create feathers, I mean transform his biomass into feathers. I wonder the limitations of his soul powers. Then, after everything was said and done, Kento showed up to give him a hand, so now it's going to be a 2-on-1. Also, something that I found out, when you separate the bits, like cut them up, the soul is in part, like, the soul isn't, like, located in one specific thing, it's across the entire body. So the more you divide a curse, the weaker the individual soul becomes, because it's getting split up. It's not quite as strong. Instead of 2 arms, you got 1. So we could theoretically, even though this guy is basically like a Cell or Majin Buu type, where it's like we have to eradicate every single atom of his existence, we could theoretically just chop him up into little bits in Chronos style and just store them all into nice, easy to conceal jars. So even though he is not dead, he would be too weak to break out. And then, of course, we have the typical, we buried it, and then 10,000 years later, prophecy, yada yada yada, but that's 10,000 years later's problem, not ours. So, yeah, we have Kento here. Kento can do the critical strike, he's gonna just start cutting limbs, and then Yuji, you know, because Yuji can damage the soul, he's gonna start just popping up. Rinse, repeat, victory. So let's get into it. But before we do, hey, please, like, comment, subscribe, especially if you like overly detailed, for the most part, analysis of anime through reactions. And then, if you would, follow us on Twitch and Twitter. Twitter's the best way to stay up to date with the channel. And Twitch, we stream every Friday and Sunday. Fridays are sometimes game streams, sometimes fun tier list streams, and then on Sunday is my manga reading stream. I'm currently reading both Tokyo Ghoul and My Hero Academia Vigilantes when that releases. So it's just a whole bunch of fun. Both are at 6 to 7-ish p.m. Central Standard Time. And then if you would, please support us on Patreon. Not only do you get a shout out during the video, which is going over here, you also get access to Patreon exclusive polls, which helps determine things that are going on with the channel, like if we finish a show, what replaces it, stuff like that. As well as access to our Patreon exclusive Discord, which is just super fun. And then the big granddaddy, the meat and potatoes, you get access to full-length reactions and early reactions. By the way, they're the same thing. So, if you would, please, one more time, like, comment, subscribe, follow us on our social medias, links are at the top of the description, and please, if you would, it means the world, support us on Patreon. With all that out of the way, I think it's time to get started. This is Jujutsu Kaisen, Season 1, Episode 13. We're starting on Ga. In 3, 2, 1, Ga. Yep, I really like Kento. He's got a brain in his head. Mm-hmm. It's exactly what we need to do. We got the person who can slice them up and the person that can eradicate the pieces. Okay. All right. This music. Okay, here we go. That's smooth as hell. Holy shit, he went sea urchin. Can he retreat? Ew. Oh, that's fucking disgusting. Dang. Fucking God. Get the guy, fucking beat his ass. Do what? Oh, damn! Oh, domain expansion, here we go. Let's see it. Still very, very unsure about domain expansions. I need to know more about them. Oh no. No. He hasn't been around long enough for the mentor death trope to happen to him. Come on! And we already have Junpei dead. Like, he doesn't need any more of, like, a rivalry with this guy. So his hands need to be regular for his power to work. Fuck this job. Oh no. Oh no. Flashback. Oh no, that's not good. This is like when freaking Bob had to get a day job in The Incredibles. Nanami. Just fucking, I wouldn't say coasting through life, but just, he's not living. Nothing that really gets him out of bed aside from just the general concept of acquiring more money. Yeah, I mean, like, you're giving out something that is necessary. I'm dealing with imaginary things. Why am I getting paid more? I'm going to violently punch by your shoulder. Please go to the hospital. Consult your doctor. I wonder how knowledgeable hospitals are on curses. Does he feel any fulfillment from that? Alright, I like that. You know, it's simple, but I like it. You know? And... we've barely known him yet, though. Not sorry. So you can't... okay. Alright, gotcha. Of course he's able to get in. Ah, okay. Okay, so the stronger it is on the inside, the weaker it is on the outside. That's interesting. Whoa, what? Whoa, okay, hold on, what? Interesting! Okay. Holy shit. Dude, what the hell? Alright, here we go. Hit him while he's down. Good. Don't give him a chance to breathe. Just hit him while he's down. Can he make it again? Oh god, he's doing the imperfect cell technique. Or the semi-perfect cell technique. I bet. Here we go. Ji Ken! I really, really enjoy that art. Jesus Christ. Gone. It was a diversion. Follow him, it's just a sewer. His soul, okay. So that also answers something. The soul isn't necessarily... touching Sukuna's soul. Okay, so I was gonna ask that question. All right, that makes sense. Oh, hey Gojo. Can Gojo give high fives? Alrighty. So, that was episode 13. And, okay. I'm going to, oh, wait, hold on. Is there a thingy? I mean, it is, but hold on. Alright, I'm just gonna double check some stuff. That I might have missed. Well, I guess the thing I wanted to double check got answered. And that being that the reason why Setsuna was able to do that was because basically he's always manipulating your soul once you're in his domain, and so the moment Yuji entered, he was now manipulating both his and Sukuna's soul, and Sukuna was like, sorry man, but I gave you your warning. That's it. And so, there was one other thing. It was what he was saying in the sewer. Should have less total cursed energy than Jogo, and Jogo is Volcano Head. Mm-hmm. His soul's on a different level, so that does, yeah. Just because he's weaker than Jogo, his soul is stronger, even in pieces. So the soul is not... the strength of the soul is not necessarily directly proportional to the strength of both, like, character and cursed energy. So that's something. So he's saying that even if they all die, like all the people who are trying to make this happen, so long as Sukuna comes back, the era of... the ages of curses will come. Well, what do you even get out of that? Like, what? Why do they want an age of curses? What do they get out of this? They don't need to eat. They don't. I assume they don't need to sleep. Why would they? They're not. They're not biological. Even though he has blood. But, like, they shouldn't... I wouldn't expect them to have the need for biological processes. Like, I doubt they need to go to the bathroom, sleep, and eat, and breathe and stuff. And, like... there's... like, would they need... they don't need money. They don't freaking... they don't seem like they are, you know, sexually active, so the whole, like, oh, you know, harems of women... kind of stuff. It's just what do they hope to gain? Is there like some deeper kind of almost like conceptual end goal here? Like, is there something that the cursed entities kind of can see and perceive and interact with that is kind of above human understanding? And it's like almost kind of like your typical kind of like a higher planar villainy where it's like, I'm going to reset all of creation into like its original state or one or back to the void. Almost certain, like, I'm not saying it's going to be that drastic, but like, you know, the kind of, they almost like meet things can't kind of grasp it or won't ever be able to like truly understand what they're going for. But like, what do they gain from it? Because Sukuna, he was like an emperor demon, right? I mean, obviously he's not a demon, but like that's kind of what he was known for. He was like almost like this god of villainy. and so he ruled over it. Is that just kind of what it's about? It's just about like acquiring power? But it's not about that really, because it's not about them wanting to, or at least from his perspective, Stein, whatever his name is. It's not about him, you know, being there and being on top, because he even just said it out. It's like, it's okay if I die so long as Sukuna is resurrected. Unless a resurrected Sukuna, could he like could like dead curses like come back from that? And it's not like they want to get rid of all humans, because then new curses wouldn't be able to be formed. Because curses form based off of societal, like, or collective feeling, or consensus about something. The everybody's idea that creepy place is creepy and haunted because it's abandoned is what creates cursed entities. So we can't get rid of humans, because then there's, I mean, that may not like depower or weaken the established ones, but then no more cursed entities would form unless cursed entities themselves can create cursed entities? I guess? But why? Why do they wish to have Sukuna back? Like, what is the goal? What do they want? Is there like, Is it really just so humans are below curse entities? Like, curse entities are on top and stuff? Because aside from a few exceptions, that's already the case. Like, you take average Joe Schmo human versus, I guess not necessarily average Joe Schmo curse, because there's that one that was just on the lady's shoulder, and that didn't seem like a big problem. But like the ones that have been like issues that our heroes had to go face, like even just the one that was on like when they went to Tokyo, and Gojo was waiting outside, and he was letting Nobuora and Yuji deal with it. Like, that would kill any normal human in a fight. You know, so... And then you got, like, Jogo, who's like a goddamn walking, you know, Moab. I'm sure it, like, in his ultimate peak, is, like, registering in the low kiloton range of destructive output. What's... Aside from Gojo, and maybe, like, 2 or 3 others, there's... Just move to, like, Europe. And start doing shit. Like, does it have to be Japan? And I know it's like, if you start really making shit, like, explode there, and maybe they have their own jujutsu sects in other countries, and if you start, you know, like, blowing shit up willy-nilly, Gojo's gonna come and find you and kill you. So I get the big plan of, like, we need to remove Gojo from the board. We need to get rid of him. Hasta la bye-bye. But why do they need Sukuna? And what do they achieve when they get him? So long as Sukuna is resurrected, the Age of Curses will come. What the hell does that mean? Also, again, yeah, why is he just doing that because he aesthetically likes it? Like, the stitches and stuff? Because he absolutely doesn't need them. Also, at least as far as I know, Junpei is, like, gone. So, that was unexpected. Unlike his body, I can kill his soul over and over again. Okay. All right. No, he's speaking. He's speaking like figuratively. I believe. So like, killing Junpei and just pissing him off, and then making him kill people. That's him killing his soul. So he's getting a Pyrrhic victory. So okay, that I kind of glossed over that last time, and I was like, killing his soul. What? No, that's almost certainly just a metaphorical killing of the soul. But let's see. Yeah, I was absolutely not expecting Kento to die, even though they were throwing up some death flags. But I was like, it's way too early. We haven't got to know him nearly well enough for the Obi-Wan, mentor death. So they were throwing up flags, and I was getting mixed signals. Let's say that. I was like, why are you doing this? This is stuff you do when you're about to kill somebody. But he shouldn't die yet. Especially because Kento is probably not my favorite character. Oh, something very important. So, that was not a one-off thing. Sukuna is absolutely invested in Megumi. It's interesting. I'm gonna write that down, actually. Sukuna is very invested in Megumi. Now, maybe it's because, his sample size isn't that large, but that's still very interesting, because Megumi has not displayed anything necessarily exceptional. I mean, he was volleyballed through an entire city block, and got up. But comparatively to things that we have seen, that's not impressive. Or at least we're supposed to believe that's not impressive. Because we haven't really seen too many other people have that happen to them, but everybody else is just dicking Megumi. He's just, like, the lowest on the food chain. So, supposedly that is something very, very unimpressive. But Sukuna found something in him that absolutely got his interest, which is really, really interesting. So, Megumi also is no longer, like, the only Shikigami summoner we've seen now. Junpei was able to do it with his jellyfish. So it's not like that is inherently something special. Though I guess it was this super powerful curse entity that allowed Junpei to do it. So maybe the way that... and the way that Megumi is doing it with the amount of variety of Shikigami that he has... maybe that is very special, but we don't necessarily know what's common and uncommon in the Jujutsu Kaisen world yet. But yeah, he absolutely was like, I don't give a shit if you live or die, except for this guy. Why? What's so special about him? Is he playing like the long game? Like, is there something about Megumi that is like, oh, I could like hop into your body maybe, or like possess you when things get serious? I could maybe your kind of jujitsu energy or whatever is something that nourishes me more than say anything else. And I know that's not how these things actually like work. I'm kind of speaking generally. Like, something about him will make Sukuna stronger when he's ready to like do stuff. Is this kind of like almost a Hisoka moment where he's like, oh, hey, you know what? You got the stuff, and I'm kind of itching. All right, so I want you to, I'm gonna throw you back in. I want you to get bigger so I can, reel you in, and it's actually a trophy. But that just doesn't seem like Sukuna. He doesn't seem like the person to go, aw, man, you got potential. I really want to kick your ass when you're a lot stronger. He doesn't seem like that. He doesn't seem like he'd give a shit about that. Otherwise, he would be chomping at the bit to fight Gojo again. Because Gojo slapped his ass, and he would be like, hey, once I'm full strength, you won't stand a chance. I'm gonna kick your ass. He'd be chomping at the bit to fight him. So, at least he would think of Gojo in a similar sense to Megumi if it was about getting that good fight. So it could very well be that. It just doesn't seem like that is necessarily in Sukuna's character. Maybe Sukuna had like a confidant back in, you know, his heyday, and maybe he sees attributes of that confidant in Megumi, and so once things get rolling, he's basically going to force him into that role, either through brute force or manipulation of any sort, mental, spiritual, whatever. It doesn't seem right to say that he just wants Megumi to get stronger so he can fight him. Like, is this gonna be like a Full Metal Alchemist thing where there's like, you know, sacrifices, like you're a chosen one, it's like, hey, you got the shit, I'm gonna keep you around, I'm interested in you, I want to see you develop, because when things go down, I'm gonna need you for something, and I need you to be better than what you are, so you can stay alive. It's just interesting. It's something that I'm definitely going to be looking forward to, or like keeping an eye on as we go forward. But aside from all that, well, hold on. It's good that the school is now taking that kind of stuff seriously. What do they remember? Like, does what's his name remember the Force? Does he remember being lifted by Junpei's dark side abilities? I guess if he's the only one, like, who'd believe him? But, like, how would they explain everybody simultaneously falling asleep? I guess you could say, like, he gassed the room, but that would be incredibly hard to believe. Like, he somehow made it all airtight, he got this gas, there's no remnants of it. I'm not a forensic scientist, so I have no idea if gas actually leaves, like, stuff that you can find. But I imagine it would. You can correct me in the comments if you're still watching at this point. But, you know, it's just kind of like a nice thing where it's like, hey, we could have prevented this had we been more attentive and cared more about the well-being of our students. Which, it's an important thing in, you know, our real world that kind of stuff happens. But it is still it's just a little silly that Junpei's first thought was, oh, this bully, this guy, he chomped my mother in two with his giant razor monster teeth. I'm not gonna let that go. I'm sorry. I know, it's sad what happened to Junpei. But, like, fucking Stein was like, hey, wanna see these fucking, you know, goddamn, you know, gumball-sized people that I made? Dude, they're in constant agony. Isn't it awesome? And his fucking that scene. Goddamn, I'm sorry, I keep fucking, you know, talking shit about Junpei, but, like, the part where he's like, no, Yuji, he's a good guy. Oh, wait, never mind, he's actually awful. He's a horrifying monster. Yeah, I guess it just didn't click until I just spoke it. I do hope Junpei's not dead. I actually don't think he is, because we had that opening shot of him in the hallway. Why? He's not dead. He's not dead. I don't believe it. But I think that's gonna be it. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Rhett, Captain of the Custodians. If you would, one more time, please like, comment, subscribe. Follow us on our social medias, links to our top description, and then would you please support us on Patreon. And this was episode 13 of Jujutsu Kaisen. Stay tuned for the next one. Have a good one, and don't trust random sewer strangers with beaded human heads. Have a good one. Bye-bye.